India. I am Dr. Jitendra Joshi from the Global India Business Forum, a global president for GIBF, and here we are in the embassy of a very important country in the Central Asia, Uzbekistan, the Republic of Uzbekistan, and here with us His Excellency Dilshod Akhatov. How are you, sir?
Fine. Namaste, namaskar, good afternoon. Fine, very well. A lot of things to do now, a lot of visits. Generally, it is very nice, very okay.
Sir, we are here today for the specific reason as India-Uzbekistan relationship and bonding is so well now in terms of diplomatic relation and the bilateral relationship also. And I think we have completed more than 31 years. It's a long journey for two countries is going so long, and the relationship day by day is getting more stronger and stronger. So your view on that, sir, what exactly you think about this 31-year journey between India and Uzbekistan?
Thank you very much. Very interesting question. It is actually you are right. Yes, we celebrated just on 18th of March. 21st anniversary of the establishment of our diplomatic relations. But you know very well also that our ties, of course, date back to many thousand years, yeah, between Uzbek and Indian people. And we share common history, we share common customs, common traditions, and so on and so on. But the most important strategic priority of our current interaction between Uzbekistan and India, of course, is a deepening of economic partnership. Nowadays, our countries benefit from favorable trade relations, for example. And for us, for the embassy also, it is a main task, one of the main mission of our embassy, of the staff of our embassy. And I would like to say that during the last 4 years, we have witnessed a considerable intensification of trade and economic cooperation with India. For example, in 2022, in the last year, the trade turnover between two countries, our countries, was at 700 million US dollars. It is actually it is somehow some kind of record in our trade relations during the last 31 years, actually, after establishment of diplomatic relations. This is, of course, small reflection of trade potential between two countries, I would like to say, and therefore we are trying to increase bilateral trade to at least 1 billion US dollar within a few years. Maybe in this year we can reach some kind of results, maybe next year, but anyway in few years we would like to increase at up to 1 billion, at least up to 1 billion US dollar. And the interest of Indian investors to my country, to Uzbekistan, is growing. And in particular, strong cooperation has been already established in such areas as healthcare, for example, IT or ICT, pharmaceuticals, hotel management, then production of some industrial goods, including automotive components, for example, and the implementation of joint projects or programs in various areas of education, especially higher education. And currently, I would like to underline, currently there are more than 400 enterprises with the participation of Indian capital in Uzbekistan, including 260 enterprises with 100% Indian capital. And in Uzbekistan, over the past 3 years, with Indian partners in priority areas of investment cooperation, 8 investment projects, relative big investment projects, worth more than 50 million US dollar have been carried out. Some examples, for example, in April 2021, for example, with Beta Drugs Limited was established of production of oncological drugs in Tashkent region, in Bekabad city of Tashkent region, or at that year also, for example, in 2021 also, with Pratiksha Hospital Group, we opened joint multidisciplinary or multi-specialty clinical hospital in Samarkand. Or in the last year, 2022, Akash Healthcare super specialty hospital opened also multi-specialty medical clinic in Tashkent city. And so on, yeah. And now more than 15 projects worth about 300 million US dollar are being implemented in really various areas. For example, it is about private institute, private university, IT university, project with Acharya group of institutions in Bukhara region, in Karakul district of Bukhara region, for example, or Kusum Healthcare also is carrying out now a project of production of various generic drugs in Tashkent Pharma Park in Tashkent region of Uzbekistan. Or Orient Group International is constructing 5-star hotel in Bukhara city. It is very, very important for the improving, for bolstering of tourism sector in Uzbekistan, or as well as, of course, the enhancing of bilateral ties in tourism area, of course. But we have huge untapped potential, I would like to say, for increasing the scale of our cooperation in trade and investment areas. We need to intensify efforts to develop concrete measures to increase the volume of mutual trade as well as the volume of mutual investment projects. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, a lot of activities are happening in this region, as the Central Asia is a very important part now, and it's a vibrant part now. A lot of things are happening. So before going for the more business talks, we just want to know, and our Indian friends want to know about what is Uzbekistan all about, and some history, and the details about maybe the people of Uzbekistan, the likings, the food. Maybe will you please throw some light on that so that our friends can understand Uzbekistan more before we talk more about the business aspects.
Yes, Uzbekistan is well known, of course, very, very famous with its touristic also untapped potential. Of course, Uzbekistan is very, very well known with historical cities, with very open people, with hospitality and so on, but as well as the economic reforms are for us very, very important, very essential, and I would like to just inform our Indian friends about, just shortly, of course, about the current economic development and reforms in this area, and which kind of opportunities there are for Indian businessmen. Of course, I think it would be very interesting for our Indian friends. Reforms in Uzbekistan during the last years, last 5, 6, maybe a little bit more years, has made the country a more appealing destination for international capital, I would like to say. Uzbekistan has pursued an ambitious liberalization reform in recent years. The leading international economic statistical online portal, for example, Trading Economics, which evaluates over 20 million economic indicators in almost 200 countries, 196 countries of the world, has published it for the first time, the Business Climate Index of Uzbekistan. And analysts estimate the state of the business climate in the country in January as positive, in January of this year. For example, 20% of enterprises increased the number of employers, and more than 40% of entrepreneurs noted an increase in demand for goods and services. I can list a few factors contributing to the development of foreign companies in the Uzbek market. There are, for example, first, Uzbekistan has the largest and fastest growing market in Central Asia. Largest, why? Because of it is we have 36 million people in Uzbekistan. It is the half and the people of our region, actually. And second is improving tax policy, especially reducing in the tax burden, for example. Third one is social, political, macroeconomic, and financial stability in Uzbekistan, including the stable foreign exchange rate. Fourth one is relatively low energy prices. You know, we are very rich in mineral resources, gas, gold, cotton, hydropower, as well as oil also, oil and rare metals and so on and so on. And next one is a young and educated workforce as an important growth factor in our country. For example, almost 60%, at least for 65%, but almost 70% of Uzbekistan's population are aged between 15 and 65. And more than 50 is 25, 35-year old, yeah, for example. And Uzbekistan, the most, as I mentioned, also most populous country, 36 million people, with historically significant cities also, with old civilization, one of the oldest civilization and one of the oldest cities in Central, not only in Central Asia, in the world also. Like Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva cities, at least 2,500 years old. Samarkand is 2,750 years old. Bukhara, 2,700, more than 2,700 years old, and so on and so on. And that are the largest consumer market in Central Asian region, of course, with this population, big population. And next one is the country has an advantageous geographical position due to its proximity to major markets and the key to Central Asian countries. For example, we are located in the heart of Central Asia. We have common border to all countries of Central Asia, as well as to Afghanistan. And the distance to the largest markets of the world are in all directions are similar. Yeah, this is the same to Eastern Asiatic market, for example, South Asia, to CIS market, for example, to Middle East, and so on and so on. It is also a very important factor. And I would like to inform also that by degree of the President of Uzbekistan on the territory of different various regions of Uzbekistan created 21 economic free zones now. Already is functioning very actively, and including 7 free pharmaceutical economic zones also in 7 regions of Uzbekistan for the development of pharmaceutical industry. And one more, just fresh information, for example, we created also the International Trade Center in Termez. Termez is in in the city, very important city in southwest part of Uzbekistan on the border to Afghanistan. And this international center also actually established in accordance with the decree of the president from November 2020, but now is being developed actually, and for example, we have this center, but on the territory of this center, it is planned to build, for example, some very important infrastructure, shopping complex, for example, for 4,000 shops, or hotel complex also, with hotels, with hostels for many thousand people, restaurant complex with many restaurants, logistics complex, of course, warehouses, for example, trade and logistics center, medical center, hospital for 300 beds, car workshop, car service, garage, and so on, and so on, and so on. And there are a lot of benefits for the participation or for the accessing of to this center also. It is very important because of the location on the border to Afghanistan to access to the Afghan market also. That's why I would like, I wanted to note especially about this center. And I'd like to say that all conditions of communication in all these economic free zones, 21 basic economic free zones and 7 pharmaceutical free zones, for example, gas, electricity, water broad, absolutely we have, or absolutely all conditions of communication to the territories of free economic zones. But the main advantage of free economic zones are exemption of participants from almost all taxes related to the conduct of product activities, for example. In particular, participants of free economic zones are exempt from land tax, income tax, property tax, for example, single tax payment, tax on the improvement and development of social infrastructure, customs payments for equipment, raw materials and components imported for own production needs, and so on, and customs payments for construction materials not produced in our country and imported as part of projects depend on amount of investment, for example. And project implementation, I mean, yeah, and more conditions, preferences and benefits also depends, some more, I mean, yeah, depends on the amount of investment. For example, if the amount of investment is from 300,000 to $3 million US, the benefits are given for a period of 3 years. If from 3 to 5 million US to 5 years. If from 5 to 10 million US to 7 years. And for an amount for more than 10 million US, benefits are offered for up to 10 years. And in the next 5 years, the amount of taxes will be paid in the amount reduced to 50%. In general, the investment climate in Uzbekistan can be characterized as favorable and dynamically developing. Furthermore, free access of Indian goods to markets for as well as promising sectors of the economies of CIS. I already mentioned about the CIS market also, to the economies of CIS countries with a population of over 3 million people are coming to the fore in order to gain a foothold in their traditional niches, such as information technology, communication technologies, and software, pharmaceuticals, and medical equipments, healthcare, textiles, leather goods, education, etc. Thank you.
It's great. Lot of important information actually you shared in this particular discussion. Two, three important things actually I want to discuss. The visas actually. A lot of people, those Indian businessmen want to come there for the business, either for the trading, maybe think about the manufacturing hub there. So the visas, what kind of visa Uzbekistan government is offering for Indian businessmen. The second, the flights arrangement actually, which is very important. And the third thing, when the businessmen think as Uzbekistan as a market, do you think they should just focus on Uzbekistan or the neighboring countries also? And which countries actually they are supposed to do that exports if they decide to manufacture goods in Uzbekistan?
Before saying about visa, I would like to inform our Indian friends about shortly about tourism, potential tourism possibility in our country. Tourism sector is one of the emerging and promising areas of cooperation actually between Uzbekistan and India. Tourism also, yeah, business tourism or economic tourism, MICE tourism and so on. And tourism in Uzbekistan is growing very rapidly. According to analysis, 5.2 million foreign tourists visited our country in the last year. Before pandemic was more, of course, 7 million, more than 7 million, but due to pandemic, of course, was decreased, and now for 2022 we had 5.2 million. It is, I think, it is very nice, very significantly, and for our country, and is growing. And the export of tourist services amounted to 1.6, more than 1.6 billion US dollar. Those results have increased 2 times compared to the results of 2021, just after pandemic period. I'd like to say also that located at the heart of Silk Road, Uzbekistan attracts travels from all over the world to ancient cities as some Tashkent, the capital city of Uzbekistan, Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva, Shahrisabz, and etc. And there are lots of must visit destinations for Indian tourists who are planning to come to Uzbekistan, as well as for Indian businessmen also. Every people from India strongly recommended to see the world famous Samarkand, Bukhara, and Khiva, of course. But it is not chance that the city of Samarkand was chosen to host the 22nd summit of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in September last year, and Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji also with his delegation visited Samarkand in the last year for the participation in this very important SEO summit. And Samarkand is host also this year 25th session of the General Assembly of World Tourism Organization, which will take place in September 2023. So it would be correct to say that Samarkand is the world tourism capital in 2023 for this year. And for thousands of years, city has been a center of this city, I mean Samarkand, yeah, of science and education, trade and innovation of the world. And last 5 years, the modern part of Samarkand has undergone in extensive reconstruction. In particular, the construction of Samarkand International Airport has been completed absolutely full, and for guests and tourists, Samarkand International Tourist Complex also opened in the business part of the city. There are also a 3-story Congress Hall in this international tourist complex. 4-star and 5-star hotels, 8 4 and 5-star hotels, and the winery, and as well as a Eternal City ethnographic park built on the both banks of rowing channel, for example. And just the summit of Shanghai Organization for Cooperation was also arranged in this complex, also in Congress Hall and so on. But I should say that Samarkand, Bukhara, Khiva, and Tashkent are already very popular destinations for Indian tourists. Even most people from all over the world associate Uzbekistan with those authentic ancient pearl cities. In this regard, I would like to recommend our Indian friends some other new destinations in my country, in Uzbekistan, which can also very attractive for friends. Yeah? For example, Andijan. Andijan is also famous in India generally. Andijan is an ancient city in eastern part of Uzbekistan, in Fergana Valley. It is a famous city from where Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur comes from. Moreover, Andijan region of Uzbekistan and Gujarat state of India has partnership relations since 2018, for example. It is actually, it was first pilot some kind of project in inter-regional cooperation of the partnership of our countries. And the statue and square of Sardar Patel was inaugurated in Andijan city even in 2019, for example. Yeah? Another must-visit city is Termez. About Termez, I thought about shortly with connections of Termez free zone, yeah, and Termez is the administrative center of Surkhandarya region of Uzbekistan and the southernmost city of Uzbekistan. It is located of the right bank of Amudarya river. Termez is considered to be cradle of Buddhism in Central Asia. It was the ancient city that became the gateway for the spread of Buddhism and related customs and architectural traditions. The strategically important location also played a role in shaping the routes of the Great Silk Road. Goods from India, China, Persia, and even the Roman Empire were delivered into the bazaars of this city, Termez city. And through Termez, Buddhism and related to its architectural traditions spread throughout China and the Far East. To date, several Buddhist temple complexes have survived on the territory of Surkhandarya. Among them, the most famous are Airatam, Karatepa, and Fayastepa Buddhist complexes on temples. Termez also gave to the world such outstanding thinkers as Imam al-Tirmizi and al-Hakim al-Tirmizi, very famous in Muslim world, in the Muslim countries. They are highly revered in the entire Muslim community, of course, and the theological treatises had a great influence on the formation and development of Muslim civilization generally. And taking this opportunity, I sincerely invite visit Uzbekistan, of course, which is 2 hours and 15 minutes flight destination from Delhi. We have 6 direct flights between Tashkent and Delhi now, and number of flights are increasing. And regarding visa, e-visa are also available to the citizen of 57 countries, including India, for our Indian friends also. And international tourists can get entry e-visa of Uzbekistan via special portal within 3 working days, for example. And for businessmen, we are very open to issue the visa. It's no problem, and visa conditions are very easy also for free economic zones and industrial parks and so on in Uzbekistan. The embassy is here in Delhi, absolutely no problem. We are always open for all our Indian friends, for not only for visa issues, but for all other issues and for our country. This will take place on April 30 of this year, and this will by the referendum for the confirmation by people of the new updated constitution, will take place on 30th April of this year, and this will be the new constitution of New Uzbekistan. The updated main law creates a solid foundation for the formation a truly free market economy by, for example, strengthening the guarantees of entrepreneurial activity in the country, and developing market relations, creating conditions for fair competition, ensuring favorable investment and business climate. One more is establishing a system of fair taxation, as well as limiting monopoly activities in our country. Here I would like to emphasize that thanks to the wide opportunities created, the number of business entities has increased 6 times over the past 6 years in our country, and has reached 2 million today. 2 million today, and the number of entrepreneurs whose income exceeded $1 million reached 26,000, and the income of 220 entrepreneurs reached $1 million. It is some kind of facts, very important facts for Indian business people also. And I would like to come back to the new constitution, new main law, updated main law. The draft of updated main law establishes a rule according to which the state guarantees the protection of property rights and related rights, and restriction of property rights is carried out only on the basis of a court decision. For example, on one more, free movement of goods, services, labor and financial resources is guaranteed in the country, and this will create a strong, of course, legal guarantee for the stable growth of our economy and the free activity of entrepreneurs, including foreign businessmen who are considered the backbone of our prosperous life, of course. Thank you very much.
Yes, this is very, very important, sir. The country like Uzbekistan, which is a growing country, Russian president, and I think the scope of SEO is also expanding now. Considering the overall global scenario, and the business scenario is also accordingly changing, and the power of business has also been changing from one country to other country also. There are a lot of things that are happening at the global level, and the new additions of countries also in the SEO summit. Like I think last year Iran was a new part, and I think in the time to come maybe Saudi Arabia is also.
Yes, Iran will be member.
So just in a simple word, I just want to know what is the scope of SEO in future and how they will support for the global trade SEO summit.
Yeah, it is a huge organization, of course, that covers huge territories of the world, of the globe. And of course, it is a very important organization, and the importance of this organization is growing. For example, in SEO Summit in Samarkand, there were very, very important issues discussed by the leaders of SEO members countries, of the observers countries, and the countries of dialogue partners, some so-called dialogue partners, and very intensively, especially, of course, economic issues also. How can we resolve, for example, the problems and challenges after pandemic era, in post-pandemic period, for example, and so on and so on, regarding trade, regarding investment, regarding transport connectivity, and so on. But initially, SEO was created for some very important, for the resolving of very important issues in the space of SEO. For example, in economic area, increasing of trade relations, or the improvement of the investment cooperation between all countries, or exchanging of technologies, and so on, and of course as well as transport connectivity. It is very important for all SEO member countries, especially for our country, because of because of our location. We are double landlocked country, Uzbekistan. That's why for us it is very, very important to increase, to improve the transport connectivity to all directions. And through SEO platform, we provide this issue also, because of this is one of the main tasks. There are a lot of other issues in SEO agenda, for example, the security challenge, for example. Now, after pandemic era, of course, food security is very, very important, becomes very important area, for example, energy security, and so on and so on. And this year is the year of Indian presidency in SEO, and soon it will be held the SEO Summit in India, and I hope all these issues will be also very intensively discussed during this summit within the Indian presidency in SEO, and what we call Samarkand spirit will continue, in the next years, also in this year and next years, in the agenda of this very important international global organization. Thank you.
Yes, because G20 is also now, India this year hosting G20. These platforms are very, very important, the G20 and SEO Summit also. And India is a growing country, so actually now the 4th largest economy in the world. And our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, is definitely trying their best that every country should get benefited, that like the entire world is like a one family. And
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, yeah. And ultimately this is definitely helping many, many countries. This side approach is very important. So just one word about Mr. Modi and his initiatives for the globe.
It is, of course, very important initiative, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one world, one future, and It is a slogan of, I know, G20 presidency of India, and it is not only important for India, for all countries in the world. G20 is very essential, very important international platform of the most developed, economically developed countries in the world, 20 economically developed countries in the world, and we are looking forward that the Indian presidency will be very successful because of India has all some kind of instruments or sources for the gathering of different opinions on the one table, so-called, of the different opinions of the countries with different development and so on to the one table, and to resolve common for all over the world issues, challenges, and problems, of course. That's why I wish our Indian friends many successes in not only during the presidency in SEO, but also within the presidency in G20, of course. Thank you.
And the last point, sir, just I want to discuss about the Global India Business Forum and Embassy of Uzbekistan. Last year we initiated the India-Uzbekistan Business and Cultural Council with the motto that the MSME sector from the both ends should get benefit. The last, your points and the discussion about that, what exactly you think about the future of such kind of initiatives?
Yes, it was really important initiative. Thank you very much, Dr. Joshi, for your intention, for your this activity and effort for enhancing and increasing of Uzbek-Indian economic ties, especially economic ties, of course, and we highly appreciate all of these efforts, and it is extremely important to consolidate our efforts in all above mentioned areas. Also, I listed all areas of our economic cooperation, and as well as assisting our respective companies to find proper partners, develop and implement mutually beneficially projects, for example, and solve any issues arising in this direction. Of course, I'm confident that regular organization of various events, organization by GIBF, I mean, yeah, and Uzbek Indian Business Platform also, on economic times, on business-to-business interactions, on promotion of Uzbekistan, in Uzbekistan ongoing processes of reforms, improving of investment and business climate in our country, and vice versa also, and etc., is a huge opportunity for the entrepreneurs of our countries to get acquainted with prospective areas of mutual beneficial cooperation, including the implementation of joint projects in trade and investment. We sincerely welcome activities of our Indian friends, our Indian partners, and its readiness for the close partnership with Uzbekistan, and development of multifaceted cooperation between our countries. And once again, it was very important to establish our joint platform, to implement of this very essential project. Once again, I thank you very much for all these efforts, for your really invaluable and valuable activities in this direction. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir. So friends, we are in discussion with the Ambassador of Uzbekistan, and such a nice interaction, discussion I can say, and His Excellency has thrown light on many such issues about G20, SEO summit, travel tourism opportunities, investment opportunities, and he also explained the various sector actually where Uzbekistan is keen to tie up with Indian businessmen, specifically MSME businessmen in India. Sir, we are really thankful for your time, and this is the time that we should start working together more closely. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you very much. And I wish you all the best, many successes, of course, good health in our current world, and family good, and many, many happiness, of course. Thank you very much.